Hi, I'm Sarah Sumbrum. I'm the Artistic Director at Dance Cleveland, and today I'm joined by Dominic Moore-Dunson, Artistic Director and founder of Moore-Dunson Co. Hi, Dominic.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you. Today we're here to talk all about Black by Nature, which is the upcoming piece that Dance Cleveland commissioned. It's going to take place right here on the trails that we've been hiking all morning.
Yes, that's right. Yes, we have.
And we wanted to give our viewers a little bit of background about yourself, and then about what they're going to see on the trails. We have two different trails that people can select from, the Prather Trail and the Oxbow Trail, and we're going to hear a little bit about each one.
That's right.
So let's start with your background. Tell us, how did you get into dance? Were you a dancer from a young age, or did dance find you later in life?
Yeah, so I had one of those classic boy stories. My older sister danced. She's 2 years older than me. And my mom sent her to dance, and quickly she was like, I need you to leave the house too.
Yeah.
So go put some tap shoes on, go tap around, and then come back. So really, I kind of just followed my sister along for years and years just because I wanted to do what my older sister was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She was so cool. Yeah, she was so cool. I just wanted to be with Keisha all the time. And so I danced a lot, started dance competitions in like the early 90s, which are very different back then than they are now. Very different. But then around fourth grade, me and my sister both auditioned for Miller South Performing Arts Center. So we went to Miller South, and I danced every day in school, danced after school as well, still at the studio. And then I went to Firestone High School, and I went to the dance program at Firestone.
Shout out Firestone.
Firestone High School, what's up, Go Stone. While still dancing then at Studio West Performing Arts Center in the Fairlawn area. So I've danced every single day in school from fourth grade until I graduated high school.
That's incredible.
So then
Not
from
many
there,
places can offer that.
It's incredible. And so from there, I went to the University of Akron, where I was playing soccer, and then dance was my major. Mm-hmm. So I was getting up and doing that 8:30 a.m. ballet class.
Soccer and dance.
And then stopping at like 10 o'clock and then sprinting across campus to go to soccer practice.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't last very long, but when it was time to decide which route I wanted to go, dance was very obvious to me that was the thing on my heart. Mm-hmm. So I decided I was going to be a dancer. That's what I was going to be, which was shocking to a lot of people, but that's still the thing I decided I wanted to be. So from there, that's when I decided, okay, I want to be professional, and then that's the route I ended up going. And there's, lots of sprinkled stories between there,
of course,
but that's the genesis of it all.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your choreography style. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I know your choreography style. I would describe you as a storyteller. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a humanistic approach about like what you do, and you're really connected to the community. And I feel like when I watch your work, I can see the research and the depth of what you've, learned about into the choreography. Yes. So tell me a little bit more about your choreography style and how you would describe it.
Yeah, so I call it urban Midwest storytelling. Mm-hmm. And obviously from the Midwest, and I feel like there's a very specific idea around what it means to grow up here. Mm-hmm. You're from this Rust Belt town, you're from this town that has all this beautiful nature around it.
Yeah.
But also, we're losing population constantly. Growing up in the early 2000s, there's constantly houses that are closing, businesses that are closing. So you live in this juxtaposition of life. And so as I started making my own work, I started thinking a lot about where I was from and how that affected me. So I started thinking about if you think about nature, it feels like this full-bodied movement in my head.
Sure.
But then when you think about the urbanization of being from Akron, I think about the humanness of being from Akron, like in the stripped down, very raw, salt of the earth kind of way of living. And so in my work, I try to spend a lot of time telling the stories of us here in Northeast Ohio through this idea of the spectrum of full-bodied movement, and very pedestrian, raw movement, but doing that in the context of story. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in the research process, usually years. Yeah. Like in the context of Black by Nature, years.
How long did it take for Black by Nature to go from your idea to this world premiere that we're going to have?
The first time I said the words Black by Nature out loud, it was end of 2021.
Okay.
And then I started the process of like, okay, I'm going to try to do this hiking thing that I've never really done before. And I'm going to try to learn this entire world. And I spent years just doing that, trying to get comfortable outside by myself. And then from there, I tried to see if a piece would emerge. Because there's very much a chance I could have started that journey and there would have been no dance.
Right.
It would have just been the journey.
Not every idea comes to fruition.
Absolutely not. So I decided to let's start walking. Let's start seeing what pops in my head. And all of a sudden ideas started popping up. And so I started writing a bunch. And from those writings, I started asking questions like, I wonder if I can create choreography in response to the writings. And again, if that's where it ended, that's where it's just going to end. It was a personal journey.
So for you, do you feel like the writing and the poetry and the spoken word almost came first before the movement?
Absolutely.
Because I always find it interesting that each choreographer is different when it comes to that. And then there's this music element, because we are going to have live music as part of the hike, and it's like, how do you do that when you have no electricity? But we're doing
right,
it.
We're doing it.
And I love that it's all different local musicians as
Yes.
well that are going to be hiking with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, the writing for me was very practical. I had things I wanted to kind of figure out in my own life, my own world, my own relationship as a black man to nature. So I was like, let me just sit with a pen and a pencil and paper and just start writing as I'm sitting underneath the tree, as I'm amongst the trees, while I'm by the water. And whatever comes during that 30-minute session of writing, that's what comes up. And then I go away, I come back, I look at it, and I start to see, like, do I see images? Do I see bodies moving in these moments? There's a lot of writing things that aren't going anywhere. They're just for me personally.
They just stayed there.
Yeah, they just not stayed there. But there are a lot that we're using inside this piece that are a response to my personal journey being in this place.
So tell me a little bit about the historical aspect.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of information about the trails themselves. Obviously, you for a short time also worked at the Conservancy. So you have a lot of insight into the historical components of the trails.
Yeah.
I know Prather Trail, you were just telling us a story about Prather.
Yeah.
Tell us how that historical component connects to the piece itself.
Yeah, so especially Prather. Prather is our kind of easier loop. It's the thing that if you're coming the second weekend, you'll go on that loop. But when I first started going there, I started wondering on the trailheads why there was a treble clef. I was like, why is there a musical note? Like, it just seemed really random. But as I was walking around, I found out on one of the placards that through archaeology, they found that the Prather Trail may very well be the first integrated neighborhood of Akron.
Wow.
And that the Prather family was in that neighborhood, and the father of that family happened to be a musician, and that's where the treble clef came from. So when I was thinking about like the first racially integrated neighborhood of Akron, it just made sense to me that that's the first place I should make something. And then when you think about Oxbow and you think about the access to the river on that side, me and Chris Coles, the composer of Black by Nature, we're thinking a lot about water, especially, and Black people's connection to water historically, and doing something around and in the river that kind of spoke to connecting, using the river as this vessel that connects our ancestors to us today as we are still trying to heal in our relationship with water as a people group in America.
And I love that in your choreography. I think, you know, we've said that these performances are open to families, right? Like, we want people to bring their kids and things like that. But what I love about your choreography, and you did this in the Remember Balloons too, is you tackle hard topics.
Yeah.
Right? You tackle hard topics, and at the beginning of the hike, I would say it definitely feels more lighthearted and childlike. You know, there's parts of like the dancers are playing hide and seek, for example. But then you transition to this underlying story and important topic that is there, and maybe the younger ones will or will not catch on to that. But I think the older audience members certainly will, and I love that you have both of those dimensions within one performance.
And I mean, I think that's classic, like being trained as an artist and just learning like what is good art making. It's multi-layered, so everyone has an access point. And like in the context of this, like the whole point of nature is to have multiple access points to nature. So for some people, you're going to go on the hike that's, you know, the level 1 versus level 2 versus the scary one, level 3. And so I feel like art is made the same way. You make a piece of art so that it doesn't matter how old your eyes are, there's something that lands with you. So then as you get older or you get more experience, you can keep coming back to that piece of art and you can keep finding things. It's like a really great song. Like that great song you loved to listen to when you were 12 about a breakup. When you're 32.
Has a totally different context.
But it's the same words, it's the same melody, right? And that's how I try to make my art as well. Is so that the youngest and the oldest can be in the same space experiencing at the same time and then go have a conversation about it.
Right.
Like that's the part to me that's really important by making these, what I call family-centered work.
Great. Yeah. So what do you hope everyone takes away? Obviously, again, 2 trails, same performance, same sections. So the performance is a hike. Along the hike, you have different sections of the choreography that will stop, and there's also sections of spoken word. But even though they're 2 different trails, it's still the same piece. So what do you hope that people take away at the very end of the trail?
Ultimately, that nature belongs to everybody. That nature is a place that all of us are allowed and supposed to exist. That we human beings were meant to be in relationship to nature. We very much urbanize ourselves, so there's a lot of us who, in a world like we can go months and months and months without actually ever being engulfed in nature. To be in tree canopies where you can't see a building or you can't see a skyscraper or you can't see a car. But we are meant to be in this space, and so I hope that everybody walks away rethinking their own relationship with nature and that they should be out here more, and nature wants them here to be with them. because it's all relational. The relationship between human and human is relational, but same thing with nature, and it's something you have to cultivate over time.
Yeah.
It's not something that's just, it's there and it's always there. It's something you have to consistently pour into to also get out of it.
And I think one thing we talked about was, this is like a national treasure, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
people don't realize that this is right in our backyard.
Oh.
I know, in fact, driving here, I was like, man, I really should come here more often.
Yeah.
And I think that we hope so many people that do the trail and enjoy the performance, that they will take that away too.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to the performances.
Yeah, thank you. See you there.